Welcome back to the shipyard and my top 10 resources. No, not current resources, that would be difficult, but top 10 resources of all time. I don't care about retirement schedule. I'm just saying the ones that I've played, that I enjoy, that I think are really good. So number 10, the command bar. This came out really early. It was immediately followed by, better resources, as you'll see. So didn't see a ton of play, but I really like what's there. You have 10 token options, and you pick 5, and you play with those. And you can have bonus actions, you can have extra attack or defense dice, you can have rerolls of dice, you can set dice. You get to make it what it is for your build. And I really like that. It's 5 points. It's super flexible. Is it the best out there? No. But it does something pretty good. And it doesn't do one particular thing great, but it does a few different things really well. For that reason, I think it's worth a spot on the list. Number 9 is Protocol. This is the resource that I fell in love with in combination with Kirk's Enterprise. Original series Enterprise. You can double up your basic actions. Well, evade, scan, and battle stations. Protocol's still really good. You can double evade. Great. You're good. And there's more to Protocol than just that. You can conceivably say, hey, I'm cloaking and you can't target lock me. That's an interesting thing. Or you can do a 3 sensor echo. That's pretty good. So Protocol gives you options. Options are good. I run Protocol mostly for the double action, but there's more ways to run it than just that. Number 8 is our first active resource, at least at the time of recording, and that is Mutiny. Mutiny is a NAT resource, and by that I mean it is a get in there and bug your opponent. You deny them something. Combine it with other cards that take away their tokens, remove their actions, give them aux power, and Mutiny is just a pain in the butt. Is it a little pricey? Oh yeah, but it justifies its cost if you run it right. Mutiny takes a high degree of build skill. It is not a slap it on and go. If you play it right, you can make it work wonders for you. Number 7 is the officer cards. I loved taking these and making my crew do more. You want better attack quality? Great. There's an officer for that. You want 1 extra talent slot? Great. Run the first officer. You can also have more action economy. A little protocol-ish there. There's extra slots that exist. And it was one of the first resources that cost what you wanted to pay. Each officer was 3 points. So I liked that aspect of it. You weren't stuck running all of them. You didn't even have to run 2 of them. You could run 1 if you wanted. And that was a really interesting way to play the game. Number 6 is Fleet Commander. Being able to run 2 captains is a very good addition to the game. Does it absolutely break it like we all thought? No, I don't think so. And that's because the points for Fleet Commander go on the ship, and under the rules where it's a 50-point limit per ship, paying for 2 captains, paying another 5 points, it limits what you can run. That has led Fleet Commander to stay at a power level. I really like Fleet Commander. I love the options it presents, but it's not broken. And that's a good sign for the game. Number 5 is Copilot, and it is the highest of the active resources as of recording. Copilot directly obsoleted general orders, and Copilot does more. Copilot can say, oh, you think you're firing before me? No, actually, I get to fire first. Or it can be, I need an evade token or a battle station token. It can be so many different things, and that flexibility is huge. Copilot is so many different things, and the fact that it works on any ship on your fleet, granted once per round, but it works for anybody. It's not assigned to a ship. It's just, it's fantastic. I love the addition of Copilot. I ran it in dry. Number 4 is the reinforcement sideboard. This resource was the first one that gave you more points to work with. It cost 10 points, but you could bring up to 20 points of cards. You got to bring a captain, a crew, tech, a weapon, and an elite talent. And then to move it on, it was an action, so it took you some time. But you could bring things as options to deal with your opponent's fleet. Now, the bulk of your fleet had to be ready to fight. But if you played it slow, you could actually customize your fleet in a certain way to make yourself ready to handle whatever it was your opponent threw at you. And the sideboard gave you a ton of options. And it was a really good resource to utilize. Number 3 is Flagship. I will spend a decent amount of time here because some people are new and some people never got to play with flagships. You assigned this to a ship and it boosted 3 of its 4 stats. It gave it an action, and if it had that action was then a free action each round. And on top of that, it gave it an extra ability that benefited fleet in some way, and you got 2 extra slots. All of that for 10 points. So you get 6 points worth of stats, most likely a free action, and if not, access to a new action, and slots and an ability. It's a resource that more than paid for itself, and I don't think it was too good, especially after the 50-point rule came out. Flagships were definitely too good before the 50-point rule. But after the 50-point rule, you really had to make your choice because it is 10 points, and it's 10 points you add on to a ship. And you're also creating a big target because now that ship is worth points. But I like flagships, and you had 8 options, 4 independent, those could go on anything, and then 4 faction-specific flagships, 1 for Fed, Klingon, Romulan, and Dominion, and those could only go on a ship of that particular faction. The independent ones were the best. They also made a ship dual or tri-faction, so that eliminated faction penalties, which again was fantastic because you're saving more points, and who doesn't love saving points? Number 2, Fleet Captain. A lot of what I just said about Flagship applies to Fleet Captain. 8 cards, all kinds of variants. The thing with Fleet Captain was the faction-specific ones had to go on a captain of that faction and be assigned to a ship of that faction. You got a +2 skill boost, but you were super restricted. The independent side could go on any captain, be assigned to any ship, made that captain independent, as well as their original faction, so dual faction captains, which is cool. I'd love to see more of that. Gave them a +1 skill boost, and the Indie Fed fleet captain, the independent side of the Federation fleet captain, was the best fleet captain because maneuver control. The other independent ones all gave 2 extra slots of a type, crew, weapon, tech, and then discounted every crew, weapon, or tech across your entire fleet. Fleet captains paid for themselves, and then some, because they were 5 points, and you were going to get more than 5 points worth of discounts off of them. I miss the days of Fleet Captain. I really do. Number 1, however, is Officer Exchange Program. And I don't think anyone's going to throw a fit at me picking this for the most powerful and game-changing resource. It's not so much that it does anything, because once you're in the game, it does absolutely nothing. This is all about points. It's all about being able to put captains and an admiral cross-faction and not pay faction penalties. But more than that, get a discount. You also don't pay faction penalties for crew. So this is your personnel, cross-faction, no problems. 0-point resource that then gives you discounts. While this card was legal, there was no reason to run no resource as opposed to Officer Exchange Program, because OXP would almost always save you points as opposed to cost you points. This is a resource that was probably too good. And when a resource is far too good, it definitely gets the number 1 slot. I went through the rest of the resources, and there were 3 that stood out for contention of the top 10, and those are All Stop, Senior Staff, and Tactics, kind of for different reasons. Senior Staff for flexibility of what you can do with talents, Tactics for more actions, but I think Protocol was just a little bit better, and All Stop for maneuvers. That's a cool thing to have. For fun, definitely the Elite Attack die, and even the Counter Attack die. I enjoyed playing with those, but I don't think those were truly top tier resources. So if you want the 11 to 13 in some order, it's Senior Staff, All Stop, and Tactics. And from there, there's a big drop off to me. I don't think I'm missing anything. If I am, please leave a comment, because there's enough that I'm probably forgetting something. I don't know. But I'll end it on that. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what your favorite resource is. Leave a comment to that. And until next time, we'll see you around the shipyard. Take care.